Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all hear me and see me, and I hope you can see our presentation. So hello from INNOVATE here in our office in Gorey on this beautiful sunny day. I really hope it's sunny where you are. Welcome to our webinar. Just a couple of housekeeping points to mention before we start. A copy of the presentation that we're going to make today and a recording of this webinar will be sent to you straight after the event. And please submit any questions you have throughout the presentation in our Q&A there, and we'll address them at the end collectively, if that's okay. Look, it's great to be back hosting webinars. We ran a series of webinars during the pandemic and then took a break. But we've had a lot of requests lately to start them again. So we're delighted. The first is based on a very prominent topic right now, security. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Caulfield and I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager here at INNOVATE. I'm delighted to be joined by two of my colleagues today. Gavin Fairs is one of our cybersecurity engineers whose expertise extends to conducting thorough vulnerability assessments, analysing network architecture and evaluating security controls. Also, Pat O'Leary is joining us today. Pat is one of our key account managers, celebrating 10 years recently, Pat, with INNOVATE. Pat is a highly accomplished ICT solutions consultant with a wealth of experience in helping organisations optimise their technology infrastructure. Look, I work alongside Gavin and Pat on a daily basis, and I have to say I'm in awe of their knowledge when it comes to security for our customers and their dedication in solving IT challenges. So just on that, I just want to take you through the agenda for today. So obviously I'm just introducing at the moment. I'll just give a brief overview of INNOVATE. I'm going to take us through security in Ireland at a glance and what the current threats are that we're seeing from our customers. And then Gavin is going to take us through a tiered approach to security. And Pat then will take us through some key security solutions that are there for 2023. And then at the end, we'll do our Q&A session. So INNOVATE, overview of INNOVATE. Look, most of you on here know what we do, but for those of you less familiar, we are a leading managed IT and cloud service provider. We provide proactive managed service solutions for our clients who are based throughout the island of Ireland and across a number of different sectors. Look, we are cloud first, but not always cloud. And what we mean by this is we believe in the power of cloud and the benefit it brings to organizations. But equally, we're aware that our customers, we need a customer-centric approach. So working out what our customer limitations are and what they're looking to achieve, and then we tailor-make the solutions around that. So my lovely, nice diagram here, which outlines all of the different areas that we cover. So with INNOVATE, we have networking, security, as we're going to go more into now, IT infrastructure, unified communications, productivity and collaboration tools. And I must mention INNOVATE Skill Source, which is turning 3 now in September. So Chris Foss heads up that area for us. So INNOVATE Skill Source is where we source contractors and permanent placements for our customers. Look, so as I mentioned, the main reason we're here today, we want to protect your business and ensure you have the best in class tools to do so. It's that simple. So look, every morning we wake up, there are stories hitting the headlines throughout Ireland. These are all Ireland-related cyber attacks. And look, we don't want to see any of our customers on here. So that's exactly why we're here today and how we can prevent that from happening. Look, so what's happening with our customers at the moment, in Ireland at the moment, 1 in 4 companies around the world have suffered a data breach in the last 3 years. Look, it's a big number. 1 in 5 Irish firms experienced a cyber attack or a data breach in 2022. I was actually really shocked when I read that. The size of the company is irrelevant to hackers. Look, SMEs can now expect as many cyber attacks as larger organisations. I don't think it matters if you're in Curracloe, Connemara, the IFSC, London, New York, Japan, wherever it is, every company is vulnerable at this stage. Irish businesses are resorting to paying ransoms. So, for example, the highest reported payout in 2021 was €46,000, a lot of money. Look, most businesses, 60% feel they're underprepared for an attack, and that's the main reason why we're here today. We want to make sure you are prepared. And then 2/3 of Irish firms plan to invest 67% more in cybersecurity and resilience in the coming years. It's really important. So look, our friends at Barracuda, who's one of our main solutions we offer in security, have given us their incident guidance data. And it's really interesting to see that the most common incident is business email compromisation. So BEC there up the top. So what is the current landscape looking like for our own customers? Look, there's a lot of people leaving organizations, which can pose issues if they're not offboarded correctly from an IT perspective. But equally, there are a lot of movement around. So some people are back in offices, some people are still working from home, some are doing a blended hybrid piece of that. And also there are a number of employees who are working abroad now for Irish companies. So there's a lot of people to consider when trying to monitor what's happening. Look, there can be a lack of knowledge with regards to security features that organizations have in place. We're also seeing an increase in requests for security reviews, and I think this is coming off the back of a lot of organizations are receiving cybersecurity audits at the moment. Look, a lot of our customers are planning ahead for the remainder of 2023, but they're equally putting together strategies for the next 2 years with regards to technology, and they're definitely coming to us for assistance with that, and we're happy to help. Regarding technology, I think there's a big change in offering that's there at the moment. It can be difficult to keep up to date with the latest changes in technology, especially the advancements in AI. And finally, educating peers. This is a realization that all employees need to know the importance of IT security and how they can play their part in protecting your business. Look, a recent human risk review was carried out where 1,000 companies across Europe were surveyed. And I just wanted to mention some of the key comments from this survey. And these were from business leaders. So Jens Becker from Zurich, his focus is very much on creating awareness among peers. So to increase security awareness in society, make people comprehend the threat situation, the need for cyber resiliency, and how to handle sensitive data. Equally, Thomas Schumacher in Accenture, everything that I can cover through employee awareness makes me more resilient as a company. I save on time, money and stress and avoid more risks. So look, on that note, I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague Gavin Fairs, who's going to take us through a tiered approach to security from a technical perspective. Over to you, Gavin.
As Sarah said there, I'm Gavin. I'm work on the security team here at INNOVATE. My job is to design and implement secure solutions for our clients to better protect our organizations. As Sarah said, I'm here today to speak about a tiered approach to security and how we see that fitting in with organizations. As you can see from some of the bullet points and slides that Sarah had as well, there's no longer a company too big or too small that they're not going to be targeted by cyber criminals. So now is an important time for companies to really get their security strategy in place and start to build out a secure culture within their organization so that every employee knows what their role plays within the security landscape and what they can do to better secure themselves and their colleagues. Of course, we understand that this is obviously a complex and very daunting task for many organizations, and that's exactly the role that we like to play within that. We try to tailor everything and try to make things a lot easier to implement for our clients. So with that, I'm going to break down the three-tiered approach. Each level of the tier is a different level of investment required to fulfill it. It's mainly just to give companies an idea of what their cyber maturity is like. It's also to help younger organizations to understand what's a good baseline security for them to have, and also for more mature organizations to start to plan out their budget for the coming years. We should always be looking to progress the security for the following year rather than concentrating on today, just to concentrate on the next 2 or 3 years, just to plan out our budgets. Also just to mention, it's not a rigid model. It's designed just as a reference. Most organizations will adopt tier 1 and then they'll pick and choose between tiers and two and 3 just to to protect their organization, because not every organization is going to require everything from every tier. But if you're protecting like people, you're going to have a different set of requirements as if you're protecting infrastructure. So with that, we'll move on to the first tier then. So tier one is the must-haves. We start off with what I think is the most important part. It's a core identity and access management piece. So this is really to lock down access to your accounts and protect your users and protect the data that they access on a daily basis. We've got our core antivirus as well. So every endpoint within an organization should have an antivirus product on it. We've got our perimeter firewall around our networks, which is always a very core part of any network. We've also got our core email filtering, so filtering malicious emails, protecting our users, and trying to eliminate those threats before they become a problem for us. We've also got our core backup solution, so we use Veeam for that. It's a very effective solution. We obviously advocate for on-site, off-site backups and a good blend of so we can better recover from any kind of security instance. We've also got our patch management, which is becoming more and more relevant with the inflation of the amount of software products that we use on our environment. It's getting harder to manage, so we need good patch management for our native and third-party applications. We can move on to tier two then. So these are the good-to-have solutions. So we'll start off again with an improved identity and access management. So this piece really bolsters on top of our core. So layering on top of tier one, which would have multi-factor authentication. We're going to put conditional access in place on top, just to limit where and when users can access your data. We've then got our web filtering. So it's to filter out any kind of malicious links. It's not just to protect from unwanted sites, but also if something does slip through the net or it's forwarded in a manner that you're not secure, and that if the link is clicked, it's protected and it closes down that connection before it ever becomes a problem. We've got our advanced email filtering then. So this ties back into what Sarah was saying from the Barracuda report with the business email compromise. So an advanced email filtering system will have impersonation protection, business email compromise, and account takeover protection to better protect users. We've then got our data loss prevention, which is becoming more relevant as well with the amount of data and the more compliance policies and all that are coming into play. So we need to better protect and understand our data and prevent it from escaping our network when it's not intended to. We've also our user awareness training. So we partner with organizations to better train our employees so that they're more aware of security threats and they can better help protect themselves. We've our advanced backup and recovery. So this focuses more on being able to recover in a timely manner and from more severe threats using things like Azure Site Recovery and other products like that. We have our MDM solution. So we're a Microsoft house. We roll out Intune for most of our clients. It's a great product for really locking down and understanding your devices and being able to manage them and better protect them. And then finally, we have our EDR solutions. So it's to layer on top of our antivirus and better able to respond to threats on an endpoint when they do occur. So we'll move on to tier 3 then. So tier 3 is our best in class, or the best things that we could possibly want for our networks. Again, at the top, we have advanced identity and access management. This again is a huge part and a good solution for locking down our administrative access. Our solutions like privileged identity management and privileged access management from Microsoft. So it gives people just-in-time access to to what they need and no more, and then removes access once their job is complete, and gives us insight then into what they have done and gives us a chance to review that. We've then got our SIMS, or Security Information and Event Management System. So it's really a central hub for collecting all our data from our endpoints and security appliances, network appliances, etc., and putting them into an area where the security team can really drill down into them and see what's there and better prepare alerting and monitoring, etc. Then building on top of that, we've got our XDR, or Extended Detection and Response. So that really leverages your SIEM and gives better protection and alerting and response to it. It allows you to better respond in real time to threats and locks things down before they become an issue. And then finally, we've got our vulnerability scanning. So this should be quite regular for most people. More and more vulnerabilities are discovered and reported every day. We should really be scanning our networks and making sure that there's nothing there that we don't know about. And if there is a vulnerability, we're aware of it before anyone else. So that finishes off the 3 tiers of security. The next piece is just around the importance of identity and access management. So we do really feel that it's become the new firewall of the organization. So more and more clients are moving to a cloud infrastructure or a hybrid environment where identity is really the perimeter now, where if we're not locking down our identity, it allows access to quite a lot of our systems, where before our firewall would have sat. So based on that, there's some statistics that I've managed to dig up. One from Modern Threatscape there reports that 74% of data breaches begin with misuse of privileged credentials. And of those 74, 80% are caused by stolen credentials, default credentials, or weak passwords. So we really need to drill down on the identity piece and lock down and manage that risk. Most financial organizations have been impacted by a data breach, with 60% of those involving identity theft. So that's a huge number there. And 44% of security experts believe that if they could better manage their identity and access management, they would better reduce their risk and really get a handle on their vulnerability. Almost half of businesses have at least one employee that has access rights above that of what their job requires. Generally, they're given access to do a job once, and they retain that responsibility or that role indefinitely, where something like our privilege and identity management would capture something like that and allow us to act upon it. It also can happen when employees move from one role to another within an organization, and they're not removed from their previous role. So something, as I say, like privilege identity management really allows us to capture that. So we can move on then to our next slide. So this is just a quick one on AI within cybersecurity. So with the advent of AI and the explosion of it in the last 6 to 8 months, there's a huge amount going on with it. And I suppose one thing that we need to realize, it's been around for quite a while, and it's in use in most security products at the moment. Most of our antivirus products, etc., would leverage it. So currently it's used for the likes of malware detection, as I say, with antivirus, phishing detection, with our email security, network intrusion, with our intrusion protection systems, botnet detection, and also data breach detection, where it can really help us find those anomalies within databases and logs, etc. So where we see the future of AI coming in with cybersecurity is really helping cybersecurity analysts, etc., get through that data and help by automating response times and really cutting down how much time it takes for us to react and secure once something does occur. Also within networks for self-healing, where it can cordon off or fix issues on networks before they will become an issue. Also, we see it used with zero trust. So zero trust is technology by where everyone is given no access by default, and then it's only opened up as and when users require it and taken away when it's not. So we really see it becoming relevant in that. Zero trust hasn't gained much traction up until now, and it's really because it's quite hard to implement. But we think with the advent of AI, it's going to become much easier to implement for people. And then we have also our AI-powered security tools. One that I'm particularly excited for is the Microsoft Copilot that'll be currently in beta and will be released hopefully in the coming months, and it'll really cut down on the amount of work that I have to do to get my job done, and really cut down on the manual effort to that. So that's something I'm quite proud of. So with that, that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'm going to hand over to Pat now to take over.
Yes, thanks, Gavin, for explaining a tiered network approach to security that we recommend for our clients. I've actually been working with Gavin on quite a few security projects over the last couple of months, and I must say it's a pleasure and a privilege to work with him. He's a really fantastic guy. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Pat O'Leary. I've been involved in the IT industry since 1999, so for more years than we care to remember. I'm here in INNOVATE for over 10 years as an IT solutions consultant. Over my time, I've been the account manager for some of the largest public and private sector organizations in the country. As part of my presentation today, I'm going to expand on the security tiers outlined by Gavin, and I'll detail the security solutions provided by INNOVATE which fit into each of those tiers, and which I believe will demonstrate that we are a truly one-stop shop in this area to our clients. And I'd like to start with a brief outline on the challenges that our customers have faced in IT, in managing their IT security over recent times, along with some takeaways from our own experience. So just to put a bit of context on our discussion today, Microsoft released their latest Work Trends Index report during the week. A lot of the information in that is related to AI, but I was really surprised to see in a survey as part of the report that 68% of respondents said they do not have enough uninterrupted time during the workday to focus. So it's a huge number of people in any organization. And I believe in order to improve our work colleagues' focus time and well-being, we need to allow our fellow workers connect to the information that they require in a quick and secure manner, no matter where they are. And I think security can have a real benefit around that area. So like in relation to security, where do we at INNOVATE see the threats coming from? Well, you know, in the past, as Gavin alluded to, the firewall was a security perimeter, but now with the proliferation of all your cloud applications and your SaaS services, remote working, mobile devices, the security perimeter has moved out to those areas, and it can be difficult for organizations to manage these new threat vectors. And in our recent experience, we see the main threats coming from phishing and spoofing attacks. Compromised Microsoft 365 account sign-ins as the most common security breach amongst our clients, along with network compromises. And that kind of links in with Barracuda's findings that Sarah had presented earlier. But I'm also seeing that a lot of my clients are preparing incident response plans. So they are preparing for when they are compromised rather than if. And a lot of those clients are spending a lot of money on security as well, but they're still seeing that they have to prepare an incident response plan. And just as part of this discussion today, I'd like to remind everybody that any breaches must be notified to the DPC within 72 hours, and you must self-classify that breach as a low, medium, high, or severe risk. And I actually had a client recently who suffered a breach which caused huge disruption to the organization, and they had to deal with the DPC around that issue. However, if they had implemented our Barracuda advanced threat protection email scanning engine, which costs less than €3 per user per month, it would have actually quarantined the email that led to that breach in the first place. So maybe we'll just go on to the next slide, please. So look, it's not all bad news. So I think the good news in relation to security is what I describe as the democratization of security services. So like as we know, SMEs make up the vast majority of organizations in Ireland, and over the last number of years, a lot of the solutions would have been exclusively available to large corporates, but they can now be offered to SMEs and be delivered as cloud SaaS offerings. We think one of the best ways that our clients can protect themselves is to have a good backup in place, like we're saying, backup. So we recommend having an on-prem and off-site backups. I'll discuss more about backups in this. And I think it's important to recognise and to say that INNOVATE does understand that we are in a difficult macroeconomic environment of high inflation at the moment, and it can be a challenge for our clients when we're asking them to invest in all of these security solutions. So we appreciate these concerns of our clients, and that's why we're presenting this as a layered or tiered approach. So we highly recommend everyone getting onto that tier 1 or must-have section, and then we can do security reviews and look at an individual basis to see if the tier 2 or 3 products are required for our customers. So I suppose the next question is as a client, how do you know where to start, or what technologies among that list that Gavin discussed you require? So a good first step would be to ask INNOVATE to carry out a security review. We carry out this assessment against a list of defined standards, and we provide you with a comprehensive report at the end of the process, which will allow you to plan and prepare how to improve your security posture. So if that is of interest, just reach out to your local account manager, please, for some more information. Thanks very much. And so maybe we just go on to so these are the tier 1 sections that Gavin alluded to. I'm calling them, they are the must-haves. The good news here is that most of our clients have these services already in place, or they are easily available to them. So again, as Gavin said, I'm going to repeat, we see identity and access management as the key way of protecting our users' identities and controlling access to our clients' IT resources, and it's based on a user risk level. So within the core IAM offering in this section, multi-factor authentication is the most effective deterrent to having your multi-factor account compromised. Azure Active Directory can also assist in securing and restricting access to data. Most of the services required in this tier are included in the Microsoft 365 premium license, and it's only a matter of getting these services provisioned if they're not already in use. Our Cisco and Meraki firewalls are managed and supported by our managed service team. We supply these as physical and virtual devices with the advanced security licensing in all cases, and this includes URL content filtering, intrusion detection, and advanced malware protection. Barracuda, which I've already spoken about, is our integrated cloud service backup and protects organizations from email-borne threats. ESET is our antivirus of choice. It has those EDR capabilities that Gavin spoke about earlier. So we support ESET, and we deliver all ESET updates via our managed service team. So providing all of our clients with some peace of mind around that area. Veeam, as Gavin also mentioned, is our best-in-class backup solution. It'll back up, restore, and replicate your data, and it's also monitored by our managed service. And I think just talking about backups, it's just worth noting that Microsoft have an excellent service called Azure Site Recovery, which may be of interest to you, because while backup ensures you have your data available no matter what, the Azure Site Recovery gives you the environment to work with that data in a disaster scenario. So it's a really good product. And obviously around patch management as well, INNOVATE, we deliver patch management and Microsoft security updates as part of our managed service at no additional cost. So the tier 2 then is what I call the good to have. So again, I'm going to start looking at the IAM tier here and work clockwise around that. So the improved identity and access management in this tier includes conditional access. And we in INNOVATE use conditional access to set up more effective rules within Microsoft 365, such as blocking account access from outside Ireland. It's worth noting that an additional 80 premium license may be required to employ these technologies. Cisco Umbrella is our security offering that blocks malware before it hits your network. Umbrella can even contain malware if it's found inside your network. We also recommend Umbrella for remote user protection. DR test, a lot of my clients as part of the managed service include a quarterly DR test as part of that managed service. So we can add that to your managed service if it's something you don't have, and it's a great way of ensuring your data integrity. For device management, we use Microsoft Intune, which is an endpoint management solution. It delivers user access and simplifies app and device management across all of your devices. And again, the good news about that is it is included in the Microsoft 365 premium license. For endpoint encryption, we're mainly using Microsoft's BitLocker, which again, it's free of charge as part of your operating system. And this can be deployed by our professional services team for you. Security reviews. So, we've already mentioned that INNOVATE can carry out security reviews on your behalf and look at across all the tiers actually of your current security posture. Security awareness training. We partner with a company called Meta Compliance who provide training programs to review compliance for across all your colleagues and mitigating security risks in your organization. And I think from myself, Skykick is the most used product in the list here that we have in front of us here from an INNOVATE perspective. It's a very important product within our security stack. So obviously it's an Office 365 backup solution. Not sure if you're aware, but deleted items in Office 365 will permanently be removed after 14 days. So Office 365 is not designed to quickly and easily restore lost, deleted, or corrupted data. Skykick is, and it allows you quickly and accurately recover from productivity data loss. And it can, as well as backing up your email, it can also include OneDrive, SharePoint, and your Teams. Phishing and impersonation protection is another Barracuda solution. It was known as Sentinel in the past, and it's actually an AI engine, and it's a threat detection engine. It stops phishing and impersonation email attacks in real time and has a direct integration with Office 365. It's a really, really super product. So just to finally then go on to our tier 3, a nice best in class section included in here. The next slide, please. Thank you. So again, we're mentioning our advanced identity and access management, and in here we're looking at things like privileged identity management and access management. So Microsoft PIM locks down based on your user role and can provide just-in-time access to data, and it also provides access reviews if you need to see who's accessing what data, where and when. And again, a bit of good news that Microsoft PIM is included as part of the AD-P2 license, which you would require for the conditional access as mentioned in tier 2. Vulnerability scanning and pen testing. So that's a process of identifying your security weaknesses and flaws in your systems. We do it in order to protect your organizations from breaches and the exposure of any sensitive data. There's a difference that vulnerability scan only identifies vulnerabilities, whereas a penetration test will dig deeper and look at the root cause of any vulnerabilities. So INNOVATE, we've been involved in organising many of these type of tests for clients over the last couple of months, couple of years even. From a best practices perspective, we do not complete these operations ourselves, but we are involved in allowing the third-party companies access our clients' networks in a safe manner to carry out these tests. And then, as Gavin also alluded to, the security information and event management is seen. It's a solution that helps organizations to detect, analyze, and respond to any of those security activity threats within their network. So it gives you visibility into your network so you can respond swiftly to potential cyber attacks and meet any compliance requirements. INNOVATE partner with a number of SIM organizations. So again, if it's something that you're interested in, if you talk to your account manager, we can point you in the right direction. And finally, we partner with Barracuda for their XDR offering. And the extended detection and response. It collects data from all the different silos of security tools across your organization, and it makes it easier and faster to investigate and respond to any of those threats. And XDR, it can collect security telemetry from endpoints, from cloud workloads, from emails, and many other sources. So look, I've reached the end of my presentation. Thanks very much for your time. Look, I know there's a lot of information contained in there. However, please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any follow-ups. And I'm going to hand back to Sarah now, who's looking after our Q&A session.
Yeah, look, thanks a million, Pat and Gavin, for that in-depth information. Look, I know there's an awful lot to take in from this webinar, but there are some really, really important takeaways there. I've actually learned quite a bit myself on this webinar, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we'll open the floor to some questions. I know there's a couple in there already. Gavin, I'm just going to start off with one for you, I think, or maybe Pat. What is the difference between malware detection and phishing detection?
Yeah, so I'll take that. So malware detection is detecting malware from like an application or from like scripts, that kind of thing, something that's on your device and executing malicious code essentially. Whereas, email threat detection was it email threat detection? Sorry?
Phishing detection.
So phishing detection is for your email itself. So it'll look for patterns and pattern match for your email and be able to detect even things that might seem quite complex. It's able to break down patterns within the email and quarantine or whatever we decide to do with the email.
Yeah, very good. Look, I think in the past, me especially, I always presumed that it would be my parents who would be attacked by phishing emails because they'd always click on the wrong button. But they're gone so sophisticated now. Isn't it incredible how easy it is to come in? And we definitely see that. Like, I know I'm very grateful to Innovative Barracuda. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm definitely very grateful because I'm one of those people, don't press the button, I'm going to press the button. But anyway, that's another issue. Look, another one here, and you both mentioned security view, and I think I brought it up as well. What is involved in this review? Not sure which of you want to take that one.
Yeah, so I'll take that one again. So there's quite a lot. It's quite in-depth review, and it will vary slightly from client to client based on what their infrastructure looks like. But generally, it will be based on their 365 environment. So security recommendations from Microsoft Secure Score, Microsoft Security Baseline. Also, Azure tenancy reviews, so using CSI benchmarks, etc., looking at as your identity and access management piece as well, which is, as we say, quite important. It also looks at your current backup infrastructure and your recovery capabilities, and just kind of recommends what might be needed there to better improve it. Also, your endpoint security, so better securing your users and their endpoints. Web access and web filtering, so better securing that. Email security, so both for email sent and also for email verification and authentication, and network security then as well.
It's very wide ranged. Look, I have another good question in here actually at the moment. What 2FA options are available for users/employees that do not want authenticator apps, SMS on their personal phones? Not all users are equipped with work mobiles. Good question. So which of you want to take that one?
Well, we have kind of we're actually what is one of the projects that we're working on together at the moment is exactly the scenario.
Oh,
so yeah,
great.
So obviously there are a couple of ways of doing it. Our client has decided to use MFA tokens. So effectively we can program and configure the tokens here for these users, literally ship it out to the user, complete the configuration remotely, and yeah, so that's normally the way around it.
Yeah, so these are little hardware tokens. They're USB sized. They have a little button on the front, generate a random code. They're programmed to everyone's individual account. Each user would get one, and then they would use that code rather than so they'd have a physical token rather than
the authentication app.
Yeah.
Great, thanks a million. How can INNOVATE help us educate our staff? That's another good one, actually. Oh, so I suppose I'll probably take that one initially, because this request actually came in throughout the pandemic, and a customer asked us, could we do up a poster for them to use, and if they could email out to staff on the do's and don'ts around security from every level. They actually put it up into their canteen. We can actually distribute that after, which is a really good piece. Have either of you have any ideas on that also? Because I know it's a very important point.
Well, you could consider using that Meta Compliance, who we partner with for a lot of that security awareness training. They're excellent, and so again, if anybody has any questions or queries for that, to come back to me, I can point them in the right direction.
That'd be great. Look, another question there. What if Barracuda fails to filter out email containing malware or phishing email?
So I'll take that. So I
Thanks, Gavin.
suppose that's where we come in with so Barracuda, I suppose, has a couple of different layers of the security. The core product for filtering emails. On top of that, then you have advanced malware detection, and so that works in real time, and it's able to proactively, I suppose, scan mailboxes and take out even after the fact if something is delivered. But if it does get through both layers and you gets into the hand of a user, that's where something like Umbrella comes in.
Yeah.
And so if the user does happen to click on the link or click on the malware, not really understanding what they're doing, Umbrella would lock that down. And then if it's an offline malware, something like ESET or the anti-threat protection or EDR solution is designed for that exact scenario.
It's really about the layers, isn't it, when you think about it? That one solution doesn't work for everything. It's obviously you have to layer up, and that's exactly what you've both been talking about. I think that's everything for the moment, unless anyone else has any other questions. Look, I'm so grateful to both of you for taking time out. I know how busy you two are, and it's very, very difficult to get to your time. And I know I can't go near you again for a very long time for a webinar. But just to mention, look, a lot of queries have came up from our customers regarding Azure and all about, are they getting the best from Azure, etc., etc. We are planning our next webinar. I think it's Tuesday, the 22nd of August. We will send out more details about that. But we do have Microsoft are coming on board with us to do a webinar again. And after that webinar, I think 6 weeks later, we're going to plan an in-person event based around that subject also. But I just want to say a huge thank you to those who joined us today. I know there's a few who messaged saying that they couldn't make it last minute, and they pleaded with us for the recording, which is not a problem at all. If anyone is interested in a security review, as Pat said, please contact your account manager and I'd be delighted to assist you with that. But equally, I'm going to put this out there, guys, don't kill me. After this call, if there are any direct questions, you can email ask@innovate.ie for both Gavin and Pat, and we'll certainly put on any questions, or if you do want to call with them, I'm sure they'll be delighted to assist you with any queries that you may have on security. Also to know, we have an exceptional relationship with our partners, both in Microsoft and Cisco, Barracuda, Veeam, all these wonderful suppliers of solutions. They too have people who can come on calls if you do want a more in-depth conversation before you do invest in some of these security solutions, and they're happy to come on and answer any questions that you may have also. But we do have an amazing technical team here that can answer queries as well. I think that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you everybody for your time. We've kept it under the hour. I'm delighted. Go and enjoy the sunshine, and we'll be back to you again with more information in the future, and keep in touch. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.